So find a comfortable place to sit. Scooch this over. Where we'll come into some centering, just coming into our breath. So if you're sitting, see if you can sit up a little bit tall and feel yourself grounded into the chair or the pillow or wherever you happen to be. You can close your eyes or set a soft gaze somewhere in the room. And come to your breath. Just begin to notice the sensations at your nostrils. Feeling the movement of the air. Entering the nose, moving down into the windpipe. Filling your lungs. And then following the air as it moves back out. Cleansing as it goes. Breathing in that nourishing breath. And as you rest here, allowing your shoulders to move away from your ears. See if you can lengthen your inhalation and exhalation. So draw that breath in and out. And start to notice the sensations in the body that the breath makes. Feel your belly rise and fall with each inhalation and exhalation. Maybe you set an intention for your practice tonight. But regardless if you do or not, I hope that you come to your practice with curiosity and compassion for yourself and meeting your body and mind where it is today. Take up space. And we'll begin to bring some gentle movement into the body. You can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, moving ankles, wrists, and maybe your head. And start to link your movement with breath. So as you inhale, look up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, look down towards the floor. You can make these movements as large or as small as you'd like. You could even pause and just use your eyes, looking up and down if that feels good. But regardless of how far you're moving it, be mindful of the breath. And you can also be mindful of where you're feeling a stretch, either in the front or the back of your neck. And then find your way back to neutral and start to look over one shoulder and then the other shoulder. And again, paying attention to the stretching that you might be feeling on the sides of your neck. And also linking this movement with your own breath. Maybe your eyes are still closed. Maybe they're looking softly towards the floor in front of you. And then come to center. And we'll do one more neck exercise. You're going to let your head go back. So you're pushing it. So basically you're trying to make as many chins as you can. So just push your head straight back and hold for 3 counts. And then release forward. Do that 2 more times. Press it back. And release. 1 more time, press it back. This is countering the computers, holding the phones, that kind of thing. Let's do 1 more. Press it back. Hold for 3. Good. And release. Maybe do some gentle forward circling. Always paying attention to your body. If there's any sharp pains in any places, you want to back off. Good. Let's get the wrists involved. So just start with some wrist circles. Again, maybe countering some of our technology that we've been on. Switch directions. Take your hands, interlace your fingers, bring your palms together, squeeze your arms into your body, and do some small figure 8s with just your hands and your wrists. And now engage the brain and go the opposite direction. I know that's hard for my brain to do. It doesn't really matter as long as you're trying to get a lot of different directions. Good. And flick your fingers like you've got water on them. Trying to get somebody wet. Good. And just bring in some shoulder rolls in one direction. Maybe you'd like to do alternating shoulders. I think that looks a little more interesting. Doing 2 at the same time, though, may draw your chest open a little bit more, and you can feel the shoulder blades coming together on your back. And make these as big as you want to. So maybe you get the whole arm involved. Maybe you hear crackles and pops like I do. All right, switch directions. Good. All right. And shake it all out. And we'll come up to standing. So whatever way that makes sense to you. Let's kind of adjust this a bit so you can see me better. Okay. Let's start by doing some vertical arm swings. So just stand and swing your arms forward and back. And get all that day out of your shoulders, your chest, your back. And keep breathing while you're doing this. Good. All right, let that go. We'll do some horizontal arm swings. So you're going to switch arms that are on top every time you come to the center. Really opening up through the chest as you open your arms. Good. Keep breathing deep into the belly. Good. All right, let that go. Shake it all out. We'll do the same with our legs. So feel free to, this will be balancing just a bit. So feel free to bring a chair in or walk yourself over next to a wall or something if you want a little bit of balance help. And we'll just swing the leg forward and back. So you could practice your balance. And it's fine if you touch your toe down here and there. Get some heat into the hip joint. And you go as high as you want to. So if you want to make these smaller, feel free. Good. All right. And then we'll do some horizontal. These are a little bit, for me at least, tougher to do when I'm trying to balance. Good. All right. Let's take that same foot and do some ankle circles. So, like I say, sometimes maybe write your favorite word. I can't read ankle, so, you know, you can swear if you want to. Just make sure you're going in lots of different directions regardless of if you're just doing circles. Good. Maybe you press your foot down so I'm just on my toes, kind of rolling. I'm going to bring some foot love into the situation. And maybe if it feels all right, tuck the toes under and do a little rolling on the toes. Good. All right, switch sides if you're using a chair. We'll do the other leg. So starting with some forward and back swings again. And make those smaller if there's any pain anywhere. Good. Engage down through that standing leg too. Ground into that foot. Good. All right. Let's do the horizontal. Out and across. Feel slightly ballerina-esque tonight. Good. All right. Bring that foot back down and we'll do our ankle love. Writing something. We're just doing circles. Good. And then come up on that toe and roll back and forth a bit. And if it doesn't feel too intense, tuck those toes under. Good. All right, I'm just gonna set this out of the way for a second. And we'll do some hip circles. So you can either have your hands on your waist or put your hands kind of like if you had back pockets. Bring your legs out and circle your hips. Remembering to bend your knees. So if you were, as we've said before, standing inside of a giant barrel and you're scraping your favorite tasty treat from the inside of the barrel with just your hips. Good. Switch directions. Good. All right. Come back to neutral, and we'll do some dynamic twists. So maybe your legs go out a little bit further, soft fist, bend in the elbows, and start to twist from side to side. Notice I'm lifting my heels off the ground as I twist the opposite direction. And then to feel the twist in a little different place on your spine, start to lift your arms up so they're more shoulder height. Then you can go up a little bit higher and then straight up if that feels all right. Now pick your favorite arm position. And start to let your arms slowly come down as you start to slow the twist. Till your arms are just flopping and hitting you. Good. All right. A little more work in the legs. So we'll do some marching. So bring your feet up as high as you want to, or your knees, I should say. So maybe you're doing small marching. Maybe you're bringing them up to hip height. Get a little more heat going in the hip joints. You can change it up. Go high for a little bit and then go low. Good. All right. Just a couple more. All right. Good. Come back to stillness. Let's start just where you are. Find our mountain pose or our Tadasana. So feet are about hip width apart or slightly wider. That feels better for your body. And they're generally parallel to each other. Granted, if that is painful for you, you stand in a way that feels good. But you want to feel center and stable. So maybe you lean forward a bit, lean back, side to side. And that can help you adjust to where you're at a stable, balanced place. Weight is square over your feet. And you can close your eyes if you want to start to feel this, or not, whatever feels better. Notice the outside edges of your feet pressing down into the floor. And notice the inside edges pressing into the floor. Notice your heels. Maybe you can feel two corners of the heels. And then notice the place by your big toes and your pinky toes, all grounding into the earth. You can absolutely also do this seated if this is too much to stand here. You can absolutely do a seated mountain pose. So working up the legs, imagine that you're going to rip the mat apart from side to side. So that slightly engages the inner thighs, engages the glutes. And then lift up through the pelvic floor. Engage the core muscles. So imagine or feel the muscles that you would feel if you were to cough. Those muscles that tightened, you're just going to initially tighten those. That's engaging the core. And then draw the shoulder blades down and back. Shoulders are away from your ears. The roof of your mouth is parallel to the floor. And it's like someone's pulling you up by the top of the head towards the ceiling. So you're elongating from the top of the head. So feel this powerful pose. Breathe deeply into the belly. Your Tadasana or mountain pose. Like I said, do the same thing sitting in a chair. Good. All right, slowly open the eyes. And we're going to do a couple of sun salutations using the seat of the chair. So grab your chair, and you can do this at the wall too. So if you don't have a chair nearby, you can absolutely use the wall. You're just going to be up more vertical. So whatever feels right to you. So before we do that, we'll do some cat-cows with the chair, at the chair. So using the chair, I'm going to fold forward a bit and press my hands into the seat of the chair. I'm bending my knees, so especially if I have tight hamstrings, that's going to help there. So if you don't have a chair and you're not using that, feel free to bend forward and rest your hands on your thighs. So that's another option. We'll be doing the same kind of thing. So your choice. So we'll just start doing some cat-cows in this position. So as you inhale, let your belly soften, drop towards the ground, tailbone goes up, chest opens, look up. As you exhale, round your back, draw your tailbone in, look down toward your feet. Inhale, arching the back, exhaling, rounding. So move at your own pace and make these as big or as small as you'd like. And it's just a little smaller movement likely if you have your hands on your thighs. So inhaling, belly is soft, dropping towards the earth, exhaling, rounding. So continue this with your breath. Good. Do two more. Good. Bend the knees, press into the seat of the chair, and come up to standing. And now we will do a couple of sun salutations. So I'm going to just step a little bit closer to the chair and skip any part of this that doesn't feel good. Come back to that cat-cow if you want to. This is your practice. I'm just a tour guide showing you some options. So standing here in Tadasana, inhale, your hands up to the sky. Exhale, bending the knees, sending the hips back like you're sitting in a chair. Forward fold, hands to the chair. Inhale, come to half lift. Exhale, fold over the chair. Good. Inhale, step your right foot back behind you in a high lunge. So I've got my heel up. My front knee is bent here. I'm not having my knee go past my ankle. And if this hurts, you may go at a, if your knee is sore, go shorter step. All right. So pressing into the chair or the wall if you're using the wall. nice and long out of the top of the head. Good. And then you'll step back with your other foot coming into a plank pose. And then step a couple steps forward, send your hips back, bend the knees, come into a version of down dog. We'll hang out here for a few breaths. You take your legs wide if you need to make space for your body. Good. And then look up, step both feet forward, come back into a forward fold, and then press strongly into your feet, bend your knees, inhale, come all the way up, exhale, hands through heart center. Good, let's do that again on the other side. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, come into a forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step the other foot back behind you, straight back. Come, stay up on your toes. And here would be the wall. If you're using the wall, you can tell I'm miming the wall. Pausing here, bending that front knee, not going past the ankle. Breathing. Good. And then step back with this right foot, bring it to meet the left into a plank. And then step a little bit forward, widen the stance if you need to make space for your body. Bend your knees, send your hips back, head between your arms, nice long spine. We'll pause here for a couple breaths. Good. Look up. Step forward with both feet. Bend in the knees, nice and strong. Come all the way up. Hands through heart center. Good. All right. We'll still option to use the chair, doing a couple more standing poses. So we'll start with Warrior One, stepping back. So here you can either step back from standing, you can turn your chair around and use the back. It's a little bit far down to use the seat, so I'm just going to turn this around to this. Or you can stand at a wall if you want some support. So I'm going to kind of turn it at an angle in a second here. Find your Tadasana for a moment. Let's just breathe. Good. So Warrior One, I'm going to step back with my right foot straight back again, same kind of thing. And come back as far as feels okay for your body. And that back foot is going to be at an angle. So the heel is down and the toes are going out at a 45-degree angle. I'm going to show you at this angle here. So I step back, and the wider I go this way, the more support and stability I have. So if you want to step, so if your legs are really close together, you may feel wobbly. So you can go out wider like that. All right, so watch this knee, the front knee, that it's pointing over your toes. All right, so here we're in Warrior One. I'm going to step up a little bit. You can bring your hands to your waist, or you can bring them up to cactus. You can bring them to prayer hands or straight up. So find your arm version and come to your breath. Breathe into your belly. Feel that string pulling you up towards the ceiling. And also notice that foot engagement. in both feet. Good. So now we'll straighten the front leg. So staying in generally the same stance, except straightening that leg. Don't let the front leg hyperextend, so you're not making it too straight, just a soft bend. Keeping your hips facing the side here, or facing straight ahead. And here, you can start to fold forward, feeling a little stretch in the back of the hamstring. You can bring your hands down. You can turn your chair so you can bring your hands to the seat of the chair. If you don't have a chair or don't want to use a chair, bring your hands to your back and allow yourself to fold forward as far as you want to go. So wherever you want to be, feeling the stretch in the back of the leg, the front leg. I'm going to slightly turn this way. You can see a different angle maybe. It's hard to see here. All right. Find your breath. And then slowly using whatever supports around you, come back up, straighten up. And now we will, if you want to, we're going to use the same legs to do one more pose, but you can come back up to normal standing and wiggle anything out. Wiggle. And we'll do a triangle pose. So here you can also do it sitting. I'm going to show you it sitting, so if you feel like you're ready for a seat, feel free to do it this way. Hello. Lily's coming to join us. So if you want to do a sitting triangle, you'll sit up nice and tall, legs are wide, and I'm going to bring my arm on the inside of this leg and then bring my top arm straight up. So that is a seated triangle. So if you would rather do that. If you're doing a standing triangle, you bring your legs back out. This time, it's more like a warrior two, if you're familiar. My front foot is intersecting my back foot. So here, I'm going to stand up nice and tall, shift my hips to the back, bring my arms out to shoulder height, let my shoulders relax, using my arms for strength, and start to tip over. And I could bring my hand to the chair, or I could bring it to my shin, or if you have a block or something there, you can reach that top arm straight up. You could also bring it behind your back. So whatever feels good for you. Breathe deeply into the belly. Whether you're sitting or standing, engage in those feet. Lift up through the pelvic floor. Engage the core muscles. All of the things we have to think about. Good. All right. Bend that front knee and allow your arms to circle you back up. Release the arms and step your feet together. Excellent. All right, we're going to do the other side, those three things as well. So let's see. I'm going to switch this side. We'll see if it's easier for you to see or not. So starting with that warrior one. So you may not want to come all the way down to the seat. You might want to use the back or neither. So starting here, you're going to step back, straight back behind you. That back foot is at an angle, so the foot is all the way down on the floor. The front foot is bent, or front foot is pointing towards the side. Knee is bent. Hips are pointing straight to the side. Breathing here. I'm going to keep going if you're here. I'm going to show you a version on the chair. So same kind of thing. I'm letting my knee hang down. So I'm holding the back of the chair, pressing my foot down in the front. And here, either just like standing, either having my hands at my waist or straight up overhead, maybe one hand. So keep breathing, engaging in the feet, lifting the pelvic floor, engaging the core muscles. Breathe deep into the belly. Good. And then slowly release the arms down. And you can either step your legs together and shake those out, or we'll go into the angle pose. So here, I'm going to be totally honest, I've never done angle seated. So what I would say to do, is straighten out one leg, the front leg, use the other leg, and start to fold over the straight leg. All right. If you are standing, the legs are straight, both legs are straight, front leg is not locked, knee is not locked, and you'll start to bend forward. Bring your hands to the seat of the chair. You can also have your hands behind your back and allow gravity to pull you down. Feeling the stretch in the back of the thigh. Breathing. One more deep breath. And then bending that front knee, pressing up all the way up. Standing, and step your feet together, wiggle them out. And we will do our triangle pose. So if you're sitting on the floor, or not on the floor, in the chair, bring your legs out wide, and you'll reach over to one side and bring that top arm up. If you're standing, go as wide as feels good to you. Back foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. Front foot is pointing that direction. Hands on the waist. Legs are straight but not locked. Shift the hip that way. Arms up. And then start to tip over. And then you can bring your hand to a chair, a block, down to your shin. Whatever feels good. Open up. Also, try to bring some length into the bottom part of your torso that is folded. Breathing here. Good. Round into those feet. Lift the pelvic floor. Engage the core. Good. Bend the front knee now and start to swing all the way back up. And bring your hands down, feet parallel, and step them together. And do your wiggles, your circles. Okay. What I'm going to suggest now is one of my favorite poses, but it's hard to do on video because oftentimes I like to use a wall for this. I'm going to use a wall for part of it, just hopefully where you can see me, but I'm also going to use a chair. So this is half moon pose, and there's all sorts of variations for this. So oftentimes when I teach it in a studio, we line up with our backs against a wall. So if you have a wall that there's enough room for you, feel free to do that. I don't have that in this this space. So I'm going to do this kind of free floating, but I'm going to use my foot on the wall behind me so you can see that. And this is, feel free, let's call this yogi playtime, where we're kind of playing around with it. Since it's the first time I've taught it in a video format. So I'm going to scooch my chair back. So I'm going to be able to reach the wall with my foot. All right, so I'm bringing my foot underneath this chair, and it's facing that wall. All right, so my toes are facing that wall. And once I come up, my hips are going to shift, so they're facing this direction. And I'm going to be lifting this back leg up and pressing it into the wall. And as I do that, I'm going to have my hand down to this chair. So you can do a lesser version, as in you don't lift as high. It's not as in hierarchy, as in just lifting slightly. You may have to adjust. If you just want to lift here, absolutely cool, great place to be. All poses are created equal, wherever you want to be. So maybe you're lifting your foot just here, and then I bring my top arm up. All right, so if you want to bring it higher, you don't have to press into a wall, but if you have a wall, I think it feels pretty nice. So I'm finding the wall behind me. My toes are pointed forward of the top foot. My bottom foot, the toes are pointed this way. Got my hand pressing into the chair. My leg is out this way. And I will lift my top arm up. So find your version, and maybe you hold it just for a few seconds, and that is totally cool. Maybe one side you're not going to do, so it's a little much. Maybe you just start to lift, so you keep both hands on the chair and you just start to lift. That's another good option. Keep breathing. So I'm just going to let you play with that on that side. Kind of peek at everybody. Very, very small here. Looking. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Excellent. Good. All right. Wonderful. All right. So slowly come down. Be very careful. So make sure you're holding on to something, or you're ready. Nothing's around you. And when we do one side, we've got to do the other side. So I'm going to switch and do it without the wall. So my toes are pointed towards that wall. And I'm going to bring my hand down to the chair and just start to lift. And maybe this is where I want to be. Maybe if I'm ready, I want to start to lift my foot up, toes pointed. See, I don't even play with this. Whee! Go ahead and play around with that. Find your breath. Really kind of engage everything towards center. And it's totally fine if you fall out. Yes. Wonderful. Awesome. Good. All right. Little half moon. Great. All right, slowly come out and wiggle it around. Good. Fabulous. All right. Let us come back to a seated position, so either on the floor or in a chair. And We'll come into a seated twist. So have your legs however they're comfortable for you. If you're sitting in a chair or sitting down, regardless, sit up nice and tall. For me, and this might be something that you've already found, if my knees, and this is for a lot of people, just the way the skeleton works, if your knees are lower than your pelvis, it makes it a little bit easier to sit up nice and tall. So I always, when I'm on the floor, have to sit on something, even if it's slightly raised. So that helps me sit up taller. Tips your pelvis just a little bit. So try it out if you haven't already. So sitting up nice and tall, we're going to start and twist over to this direction. So I'm going to bring my arm up overhead, reach it up, and then start to twist, bring it down behind me, and start to twist over to the left. So, and then I'll pick, I want to keep my front hand on the opposite leg over here. For twists, sometimes I like to move my belly and make space for that twist. So sit up nice and tall. Inhale, and as you exhale, twist a little bit. Keep breathing. Good. One more breath. And then slowly turn your head towards the front, and then let the rest of your body unwind. Take a breath at the center, and then reach up with the other hand, and then swing it behind you, and twist to the other direction. Sitting up nice and tall. Good. One more breath. And then slowly look forward and then release all the way around. And we will come to a wide-legged forward fold. So if you're sitting in a chair, bring your knees out wide. You're sitting on the floor. For me, I don't like to be as high as I was because it puts pressure on the backs of my knees. So that's why I don't like that. So that's why I scooted off. So I'm tipping my pelvis forward a little bit, move the flesh of my bum away so my sits bones can ground into the floor. Sometimes that helps sit up tall as well. So here, either on the floor or in a chair, sit up nice and tall and fold forward as far as you want to. So if you're sitting in a chair, you could have your forearms on your thighs and bring your fingertips together and rest here. You could come down to a block or something like that, a book, or you could come all the way to the floor. So find your version of forward fold, either chair or floor, and let your head rest and come to your breath. Take 2 more breaths. And then look up. Walk your hands up to your thighs. Nice strong back. Come all the way up. And make any movements that would feel good to you right now. And then we'll find a comfortable place to finish in Shavasana. So either sitting in your chair, you could go to a recliner or couch. You could lie down on the floor if that would feel good to you. So find your place. Pause for just a moment while you get comfy. Maybe you put on a sweatshirt or a blanket. And come to a comfortable place. Close your eyes or set a soft gaze somewhere in the room. And let your breath be however it wants to be. Release your jaw. Soften the space around your eyes, your forehead. Rest your awareness at the tip of your nose, just noticing the air moving in and out. The air is cool as it comes in, and it's warmed by your body as it leaves. Wipe all expression from your face. Release your shoulders away from your ears. Let whatever's holding you, a chair, a pillow, the floor, let it fully support you. Begin to notice the breath coming in and out at the nostrils. Maybe you start to breathe in and follow the breath down the back of your spine to the bottom of your spine. As you exhale, follow it in the opposite direction from the bottom of your spine and out the tip of your nose. Keep following that breath in to the bottom of the spine, out from the bottom of the spine to your nose. Then release that mental effort and just once again notice the breath at the tip of the nose. And then maybe you start to follow your breath in and down both arms to your fingertips as you breathe in and as you breathe out from the fingertips, back out the tip of the nose, into the fingertips, out through your nose. And maybe you release that effort. Just feel the breath once again at the nose. And then maybe you start to follow it from the tip of the nose all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. As you inhale and as you exhale, from the bottoms of your feet all the way out to the tips of your nose. Each time you breathe in, it brings in nourishment, oxygen that your body needs. And as you exhale, it cleanses, removing the things that your body doesn't need. Carbon dioxide and other things. And see if you can feel that nourishing breath and that cleansing breath. Maybe you bring back the idea of your intention if you set one. And now simply rest in this moment, in this quiet place for just a few more moments. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be anything. Now begin to deepen your breath and invite some gentle movement into your body. If you're lying on the floor, roll over to one side and make your way up to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands together and begin to rub them, creating some heat, some energy, some warmth. And then take one hand over the other, place it over your chest, over your heart. Feel the warmth of your hands. Breathe into your palms. Thank yourself for making this time for you, for your breath. Pause. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your practice. I wish for you a wonderful rest of the week and rest of the evening. Om, peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Feel free to check in if you want to, or head out if you need to. I appreciate
you.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you coming. Thanks, Erin.
Thank you. That was
Thank
great.
you.